Hello everyone and welcome to Sew with Jessica.
In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys the making of this simple dress right here on the screen. If it's something you're interested in any, make sure to keep on watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get into the tutorial of today proper. We're needing two fabrics for this. We'll be needing a plain fabric and an Ankara piece. So for my plain fabric, I'm using these old skirts that I'm no longer using again. And for the second fabric, we'll be using this 100% cotton African fabric right here. So I have 1 yard 20 something inches. This is almost 2 yards, but not up to 2 yards, so you can tell why the length is short. So this area that I'm showing is where the yards are measured. I will fold it down just as seen. And now we are going to refold it again so that we'll be able to cut out both the front and the back piece at once. So pick from the other end and place down. This way everything is folded into 4. Place the tape from the starting line and take your shoulder to your bust point. Place the tape from the starting line and mark from your shoulder to your waistline. We are going to skip the under bust line since it's a free dress. Next will be from the shoulder to the hip line, which I'm using 25. At the top part, take your neck width of 3 inches and the neck depth of 3 inches. This neckline applies to both the front and the back piece. Now connect those 2 points together with a curve. Still on the starting line, place your tape in this direction and take your shoulder measurement, divide by 2. Now from where we have the shoulder measurement, mark your sleeve length, how long you want the sleeve to be. So where we have the sleeve length, we'll mark downwards the sleeve opening. And I marked 10 inches there. Now we'll make a straight line at that point, just as seen. On the bust point line, take your round bust measurement, divide by 4, mark what it gives you there, add 2 inches for ease and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. You can use only 1 inch for ease if that's what you want, but I'm always using 2 inches for ease. On the waistline, take your exact waist measurement, 2 inches for ease, 1 inch for sewing allowance. On the hip line, take your round hip measurement, divide by 4, 2 inches for ease, 1 inch for sewing allowance. Now take the measurement of everything we have at the hip line, which is 14, and bring to the full length. Now connect all these points together just as seen. From the bust point to the sleeve opening, create a curve just as seen. Just make sure that no part of this measurement is sharp. And then I added the sewing allowance to the sleeve area. Now this is everything. Instead of cutting this out and then attaching a pocket later on, since this is the only piece of fabric I have left, I decided to mark my pocket, which is the inseam pocket. So I marked 18 inches from the shoulder line downwards, and then I'll place my hand in this direction. Make sure it is slanted downwards, because when you fit your hand in your pocket, your hand goes downwards. Now we'll go ahead and draw a chalk in the direction, in the shape of our hand, enough to accommodate our 5 fingers. And this is everything. You can proceed to cut this out. Before cutting the neckline, open up the fabric just as seen, which would be front and back at this time around, like everything is now in 2 fold. So first, what we're going to do is to fold this down so we can transfer the chalk lines to the other direction. This will enable us have accurate measurements. By the time we open it back up, you will see that some of the chalk lines have been transferred already, so I'll just go ahead and make it more visible. Remember, we marked the shoulder measurement earlier at that point, so from that shoulder measurement, you can decide to mark 2 inches or 3 inches after the shoulder measurement, which is totally optional. But if you're marking this just on your shoulder measurement, it's going to hang on your shoulder. It's going to sit on your shoulder like an off shoulder. So you can just create a curve from this neckline to meet this shoulder measurement here. And like I said, you have to add 2 inches. I forgot to add 2 inches here, but I'm still going to reduce it later on because I wanted my shoulder to fall. But since I marked this on the shoulder line, it did not fall. Well, I'll show you guys later on, not to confuse us. Using a lining is totally optional, but whenever I'm working with this type of fabric, I always love to use a lining, not all the time, when I can afford it. But I love to use a lining because this type of fabrics, these wrappers are not cheap, so why not just make it a lot more rich? And plus, I had this lining already. I couldn't just throw it away, I just decided to use it. So using a lining is totally optional. This is just a simple dress, so So if you know you want to line yours, this is the point where you bring your lining and you cut out your lining. We're going to keep the lining aside for now and we'll continue working on the main fabric. So where I had the shoulder measurement, I marked 2 inches and I redefined the neckline so that the neckline can fall, which is what I explained earlier. So everything that I'm doing here, I still went on to transfer it to the lining. So to avoid going through this double stress, make sure you do this when you were cutting the neckline initially. Open up the main fabric just as seen. This time around, make sure you're opening the right face, not the wrong face anymore. Now I'm bringing your red piece of fabric, your plain fabric. I have already prepped it. I folded 1/2 inch on both sides and ironed. So this is what I have now. And this is what we are going to use to attach to the sleeve area. So I placed the band on the sleeve and then I will sew this direction of the band just as indicated, only this top part of the band. So for the lower part, I'm going to be turning it with my lining. So once I'm done, I'll do same thing to the other sleeve as well. After sewing, it's time to cut out a band for the neckline just to have that red design. Bring in your plain fabric and fold it down just as seen. Now place your Ankara piece on this folded plain fabric. Just make sure that the shoulder line aligns with the folded side of the plain fabric and cut out the neck area. Keep the Ankara piece aside and I'll mark how wide you want that neck band to be. So I'm going to mark 2.5 inches all around. After connecting those dots together, I'll cut it out and this is perfect. This will relax properly on the blouse. So after placing the band on the neckline, I noticed that it was a little bit bigger than the neckline itself. So I just cut it open there so I can just hem that area. So this is how I will secure the band to the neckline first, just top stitch. But if you are not using a lining, use this band to turn the neckline. I don't know if you understand. You will place this band wrong face facing the wrong face, and after sewing you flip it over to the right face so it can have a neat finishing. But since I'm attaching the lining, I only top stitch. So now that I'm done, this is how I'm going to attach the base of the band to the neckline area. I'm going to fold in 1/2 inch and take my time to sew this all around. It's just a design, it's totally optional. But like I said, if you're not using a lining, this could help finish up the whole rough edge along the neckline. So after sewing and prepping everything, we'll fold down the fabric. So the part of the shoulder line that falls, the part that is going to drape down, or the side that is a lot wider, that is the area we're going to chalk this on. So now that the fabric is on fold, mark your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Mine is 4 inches, so we are going to mark it like this down to the full length. After we've marked it all through, we'll connect a straight line there. That is the area where we are going to be marking the band on, the one that goes along your shoulder. That is the area where we are going to be marking it on. And like I said, I already prepped this band earlier. So the only thing I do is to just place it on it. I'm ironed 1/2 inch on both sides. So now I'll place the band on this chalked line, but I'll make sure that it is facing the pocket direction. Okay, just place it from the chalked line like this and make sure it faces the pocket direction. So if you look closely, you will see that I didn't finish the band up to the neck area. I stopped somewhere around there. Now you're going to bring in your lining. If you're also using a lining like me, you're going to place your lining on the fabric, on the right face of the fabric, and sew along the neckline, just the neckline. Notch around the neckline, just as seen. This will enable it to relax properly by the time you flip it over to the right face. Now make sure that this circle is perfectly placed and then just place it down and sew the band to wherever the band of the neckline of the back piece ends. This is basically it, guys. we've secured that shoulder line. This should align properly. This should hold your shoulder well while the other side of the neckline falls. So now we'll continue to hem up. So I'll roll up the fabric at this point here, and then I'll bring the lining out. Okay, I'll just use my hand and pass out the lining just as seen, and then place it over the main fabric like this, and then sew it up. Also repeat the same process for the other sleeve as well. Same thing, we are going to roll up this side. Once we get close, we'll pass out the lining like this and place it over the main fabric. After sewing, we'll flip everything over. So at this point, this whole step is self-explanatory. We'll just repeat the same process in order to hem the base of the dress. Yeah, so roll it, flip it, and do same for the other side as well. So by the time we are done, we are going to flip everything out again, and it should look like this. So after prepping, now it's time to finish up the side seams. So I'll place everything down, right face facing each other. Now you're going to take your time to align the side seams together. Yes, cut off that excess band there. Align the pockets together. It's very important for your pocket to align well. Now we are going to sew up the 1 inch sewing allowance that we added to the side seams. So we are going to sew up just as indicated. So someone mentioned that they always have issues with this inseam pocket, these cut together pockets that you cut with your dress, that whenever they make theirs, that it usually does not relax, and that's why I'm making this video. So this is a close-up video of how I sewed up everything right. Now I'll flip everything over to the right face so we have a closer view of what the pocket looks like, right, just immediately after sewing. Now you'll see that mine did not also relax. The lower part is fine, it relaxed fine, everything is good there, but you see this top part here, it does not relax. It's having like a fold. In order to fix that, I'll flip it over to the wrong face. Now you see that the lower side of my pocket did not have any issues, so fine. We're only going to work on this top part here. All you have to do is to notch at that point, and then I proceeded to trim off the allowance of the pocket. I'm trimming it off because I intend to weave and I want everything to align properly. Notching the lower part is totally optional, and that's because the lower part did not have any fold. I worked on only one side, which is this side that we can see right here, and the other side of the pocket I have not touched it. Now I'm going to flip the whole dress so we can see the difference. Now this is the part where I notched, and you can see that it is laying as flat as it could. I've not even ironed yet, but everything makes sense. It aligns properly now. So this is the only step you've been missing while making your inseam pocket. You are not notching the top and the lower part. And then this is the other part that I have not yet notched, and you can see that it also has a fold. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned something new. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.